Excited about moving forward to our Big 12 schedule. We know we got 9 opponents ahead of us, so it doesn't matter, at what point you play who, it doesn't really matter. This one happens to be in Lawrence against Kansas, and excited about that. Got a lot of familiarity with not only, Kansas, but all of the Big 12 going into the 6th year. So there's not a whole lot of secrets out there when it comes to, us playing them. There's not a whole lot of secrets out there when it comes to them playing us. So we know each other pretty well. I think all of our goal is just line up and play a good football game and put our guys in position to be successful and hopefully come out victorious. Yeah, they're 1-2. I tell you that I know the last 2 games that they've lost have been really competitive, been close games that they just didn't happen to win. I see a Kansas team that has improved over the last couple of years. I think Coach Beatty's an outstanding football coach. Done a great job of building some excitement around their program with recruiting. Doing a good job of getting some really good recruits in there. They do a great job with their staff. I've got a lot of great coaches on their staff as well. So. This will be a big challenge for us. And I think our guys will be excited about that. I really do. I mean, you can say what you want to. We've done what we're supposed to the last couple of weeks. Came up short in that first game. We know have done what we have supposed to as a football team, as a football program the last 2 weeks, and we're ready to move on to Big 12 play. That's going to be our motivation. Don't care who, don't care where. It's Big 12 football, and we need to go out and we need to play our best, which is what we're expected to do and what we're expecting to do. Same goes for them. They're gonna say the same thing. They're gonna tell their guys this has been one that we've been looking forward to for a long time. So we'll get their absolute best this weekend. We know that. And the thing about them as well too, they got so many new guys. They got some new schemes and some new coaches, but they got a lot of new players, playing for them. So they're going to get it together at some point. I hope it ain't this weekend, but we got to count on them doing that. So offensively, Doug Meacham, extremely familiar with him. Been at TCU doing the same stuff that he did at TCU. Shoot, he's doing the same stuff that we did at Oklahoma State when he was my inside receiver coach there. So, got a quarterback that can sling it around. Washington State transfer, played at Itawamba Community College there in Mississippi. He's a gunslinger, can throw it all over the place. They got a lot of receivers that they throw to. You got to defend the run as well. I mean, Meach has always done a good job of making sure he mixes in the run. So. They're going to continue to get better on offense based on new offense. They got a plan, and just the timing aspect of a new quarterback throwing with new receivers. I mean, that quarterback's only been there for a few months, so they're going to continue to get better and better. Defensively, looks the same as it's always looked. Clint Bowen's been there for a long time. 1990, I think, is when he's played there. So, been there forever. He got a plan with what he wants to do on defense, and they do a really good job of it. I've sat here in front of y'all for the last 5 years and talked about my respect for Clint Bowen and how good that they are defensively. They've played well defensively in the years that we've played against them. This group of defenders is no different than the ones that we've seen. They got really good players, especially up front. The Armstrong kid and the Wise kid are two as good as we'll see all year. Got very active safeties. Got linebackers that that are solid. And they got a couple of new corners that they got out of the junior college ranks, which we know something about. We know who every junior college corner in the country is, and these are 2 guys that we had our eye on, and they can play. So defensively, they're going to continue to get better and better. Special teams, obviously know a lot about it based on Coach DeForest being here and being there. got a lot of familiarity with what he's doing. Their kicker is new, has been there, but he's new, but he looks as good as anybody I've seen. Their punter, same guy that we had last year, does a great job. Their return game is dangerous, and they're very solid with what they do as well. So can't face an opponent that we know more about. But Coach Beatty's saying the same thing in his press conference right now. Can't face an opponent that they don't, that they could know more about. So it'd be interesting to see how this goes down. Like I said, we're excited about our week of preparation, flying to Kansas City on Friday. Got about 45-minute drive on Saturday morning, where we're used to getting up early and going and playing that game at 11 a.m. No different than what we've done here the last 2 weeks and what we've done there the last couple times we've been there. Starting Big 12 ball. Any questions?
Dana, with Meacham, is it just TCU's offense, or is he putting his own twist on it?
Well, he put his own twist on TCU's offense.
Mm-hmm.
You can say what you want with co-coordinators or whatever it was. Sonny Cumbie coming from Texas Tech, Meach coming from Oklahoma State. What's the difference? So it looks like TCU to me. I think the bigger question is going to be what TCU doing right now, which I think is going to be different. But we'll figure that out next week.
And you said before, going into that venue, you have to kind of warn your team that the crowd and then the kind of the lackadaisical atmosphere. Do you still worry about that?
I don't think it would be like that this time. I can't say I ever really worried about it. It's our job to prepare our guys the best way we can and let them know what the situation is going to be. This is the first time we're playing in September. So, go out there this afternoon. It's going to be 82 degrees. Throw a little wind on top of that, and that's what the conditions are going to be like, which is a far cry from when we played them late November, maybe even early December. I can't even remember at this point, but it'd be more a little bit of a wind chill situation, which kind of shoves fans inside to watch basketball. I think it'd be pretty good there. I do. I think that they've been pumping this thing up, so I think there'll be a lot of people there, which would be good. The more, the better. I don't know how that's going to affect us one way or another.
What do you like about Wellman's game Saturday?
His job's to block people, so he's kind of a sixth O lineman up there. Played good. I mean, he thumped some people pretty good. We rely on him a lot for inspiration and lead blocking and chopping people down and helping in pass protection, and he's doing a really good job of that. We've taken a few special teams reps off of him to enable us to be able to use him more on offense. He's been heavily involved in a lot of our special team stuff previously, where he's not as much moving forward. Did do a great job on that first kickoff return, kicked a guy out, and Marcus hit it up in there. So he's involved in that one. Just blocking people, it's as simple as that. I mean, he plays with an attitude. It's important to him. He's great in the huddle. I've talked a lot about the presence of Will and David in the huddle. Well, he ain't no different. He gets in there, and that's why he's our team captain.
And is the way you're using him significant as far as the way you've changed offense, or is football changing that way to go to more of a fullback type?
That's a good question. We started doing that 7 years ago. I mean, I never used the fullback ever. At Tech, no. Houston, no. Went to Oklahoma State, and started using it a little bit just because I had one there that I liked. Came here and we had a few of those bodies kind of laying around that we used a little bit. But so this is about year 8 for us to do it. And Jake understands that, and he's doing a great job with it. He was with me at Oklahoma State when we kind of started doing that along with Joe Wickline. So, we're all here, so we all kind of understand that. You're right, though. You see everybody doing it now. You're adding that sixth gap, that sixth body to add gaps, but it's not just a tight end body. It's more of a move around guy that you can do different things with, and you can get them incorporated in the pass game a good bit as well. So the answer is both. It's what I want to do. It's what we've been doing, but I see college football heading that direction as well. Now, are we going to get to a point where you're going to see that guy in a three-point stance and directly behind the quarterback who's under center with the guy dotting the I? I don't know if we're headed that direction.
Coach, when you talk to players about Will, somewhere in the discussion it usually comes up about the great amount of respect and faith that they have in him. And realistically, the kid's been here a little over a year, didn't play in a game at all last year. So from your viewpoint, how has he been able, kind of behind the scenes kind of thing, how has he been able to come in and win everyone over, so to speak, as quickly as he has?
It's that starting quarterback gene that, in particular, coaches' kids kind of have. It's not about just being out there on the football field or working hard in the weight room, but understanding the locker room aspect of it as well, meeting room aspect of it as well. got a lot of intelligence, a lot of football intelligence, but that starting quarterback gene where people gravitate towards them, knows when to pick people up, knows when to kind of yell at a guy, can sit in front of them in a meeting room and discuss what's happening, on the screen. And guys say, yeah, that guy knows what he's talking about. I probably had to listen to him. He's got the ball in his hands. So he just has that.
You mentioned Crawford's consistency yesterday in the call. Is it a matter of him being a year older? Is it the way you're using it? Is it the passing game? Why is he more consistent so far?
Yeah, we're only 3 games into it. We've had 2 of them under control. We got depth at running back. He's carried it, 14, 15 times a game for 3 games now. That number is going to go up at some point. So, maturity, health, off-season, motivation, knowledge, everything. Like where he's at. He was the best cheerleader on the sidelines on Saturday. I mean, he was out there yelling at the defense, the second, third team defensive guys to get off the field, which I thought was pretty cool, So I like where he's at in general. And it means a lot to him to play. It means a lot to him to win. He'll do about anything he's got to get that done.
Danny, is your offensive balance where you want it to be? I mean, averaging 300 passing, 200 rushing. Obviously, those are good numbers. Is that you getting the balance you want, the numbers you want?
Yeah, I think so. I think so. Confuses Coach Nealon, but we've talked about that quite a bit. He wants that thing about 400 and 200, which would be a lot. That'd be at 600. I mean, he'd probably at least want it reversed, 300 rushing, 200, right? I think it's good. I think it's who we are. We're going to continue to force runs. Even when they're clearly taking the run away, just because a lot of up tempo, and that's who we are. But opens up big plays too, and I think the reason why our passing game numbers, yardage wise, is as high as it is because of all the big plays that we've had. We're calling run quite a bit, even if we're throwing it out there on the perimeter for various reasons, we're calling it a good bet.
Do you have with Coach Neiman?
Oh, not as much as I'd like, for a bunch of different reasons, but he pops in a good bit. He gave up a long time ago on me and the whole run game thing. No, I mean, that's, initially he did. He didn't talk to me the first 2 years, but then saw the transition a little bit and started talking. Now he's probably not talking anymore.
Coach, you kind of brushed by Kansas a little bit. Is there any one player out there in Lawrence that you think might give WV a little trouble on Saturday?
Yeah, a lot of them. The Sims kid, the receiver, is really a good player. He impresses you a good bit. And, their one back, 24, has been hurt, but he's a good player. The quarterback's going to get better and better. Those two D linemen are really good. Number 11, the safety, is a really good player. That's not, we're not even counting the guy that leads the Big 12 in tackles. The Willie linebacker, 29, who was hurt last year, didn't play. I hate singling out a few of them because it'll give, if I didn't mention them, it's going to give that specific kid motivation to play good. But yeah, there's some guys that really stand out, really do.
And you mentioned that the number of carries will probably go up at some time for Crawford. What's optimum for him in a close, hard football game, where you would think you'd get your most production from him?
I don't know. I mean, I've said the days of 28 carry, backs are done, and then you give it to Crawford 28 times, and he goes for 200-300 yards against Baylor and Oklahoma. So he can handle that. The danger in that is what his body's going to be like the next week, and then the next week. And we're fortunate to have, Kennedy will be back, ready to roll. Petaway looked good. We got two other guys that can. What you got to figure out as a coach is if you hand it to your starter 22, 23 times, are you better off handing it to 32-7 more times than that? So that's just something we gauge. We chart how many times each of these guys have touched the ball, how many snaps that they play. Skill guys offensively, we chart it on the sidelines. And I go and talk after every series about who I think needs to touch the ball or who I think needs to play a little bit more. Just to try to spread things out to keep guys fresh in the fourth quarter, but also to keep them healthy throughout the course of the season. And Dorchester does a great job of tracking player participation, and our numbers are really even right now. Where last year they were really top heavy, right now they're pretty even. And that's everything, special teams and amount of snaps in general.
Lingenfelter, I noticed he's back on the seat. What's the situation?
Yeah, all those guys will practice today. That doesn't mean they'll play. We got to wait and see how practice goes. So all those long-term guys will be out there. Torius Avery, David Long, Grant, Butch Grossi, all those guys are real close. We'll practice them today and wait and see how they do today and tomorrow. They're for sure going to be on the plane. We just have to wait and see how that looks.
Obviously, Peyton Bender has a Mike Leach background. Is he a classic Mike Leach quarterback? And do you talk to him, the coach, about what he saw in him to begin with?
Not him specifically. Yeah, the Mike Leach classic quarterback is a guy that sits in the pocket and throws it 90 times a game. Capable of doing that, and this kid's capable of doing that. That's what he wants to do. So he wants to stay in the pocket and he wants to throw that thing all over the place. So that's what we're preparing for. I've learned my lesson talking to Coach Leach. Washington State's playing well. We want them to keep winning because the more they win, the weirder he gets. I love him. He's the best. His press conferences are a lot more entertaining than mine.
Did you see his alien
Oh, I've seen it all. I've seen it all before y'all have seen it all, trust me. Reason why I hadn't read his books, I lived it.